welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be another Will I Buy It? So I'm just gonna go through all the new makeup releases, kind of just give my opinions on them, whether I think I'm going to pick them up or not, and just talk about makeup a little bit, the new releases that are coming out for holiday. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's just get started because I have a lot of new releases to talk about. All right, so as always, all the makeup that I'm wearing today is listed down in the description box below, as well as all the Instagram accounts that I'm pulling from for these posts, etc. Make sure you're checking the description box, but there really is a lot to go over, so we should probably get started. Now, I am not feeling very inspired this week, which is not a bad thing. I'll save my money, but there's a lot that's come out that is going to release that I am just not very interested in. I want to start with the Charlotte Tilbury release because I kind of touched on that last time I did a video. We kind of got like a sneak peek, but now we have like official details on what she's coming out with for holiday. And usually Charlotte Tilbury's one that I can't resist. I usually always get the holiday release, but I don't know, something about this one, I'm just not loving this 9-pan. And I don't know, I'm surprised because purples, browns, neutrals, that's usually what I'm all about. And I'm just not liking this. Other than the packaging, which I think is stunning, this is not calling out to me. It's $75. It's quite expensive. It's the same as her other palettes last year, but I just don't think Charlotte Tilbury is really well known for her eyeshadows. So I'm not really wanting this. I don't know. You'll have to let me know your thoughts down below. Is this something that you're gonna pick up? Because like I said, I usually pick up all of Charlotte Tilbury's holiday releases, and this is just not calling to me, so I'm gonna just stay far away. She's also releasing 2 blush and glows, very similar to her Film Star Bronze and Glow. I think this is a smart release. It has a blush and highlight, and it's also in a mini size, so it's $29 instead of the more expensive full size price. I think this is gonna appeal to a lot of people, but it's just not for me. It's not for me this time, and I'm okay with that. So I'll be passing on this collection. The next one I want to talk about is something that's already released that's kind of like old news in the makeup world, but I didn't have any information on this last time I did a video, and that is the Odens Eye and Angelica Nyquist collaboration, the Halloween palettes. I think it came with 2 palettes as well as 5 lip products, something like that. You'll have to let me know if you pick this up because this already launched and I was on the fence. When they first announced this, I was like, no, I don't like this, meh. And then I kind of started seeing more photos and I was like, okay, well, I do really like Odens Eye formula. Like, do I need to get this? But then I reminded myself, I have the last release from Odens Eye and I have yet to do a video on it. I have yet to try it. It's in my to be tried do a video drawer. I'm just swimming in eyeshadow palettes. Like, I'm so far behind on them. So I do want to be a little bit picky, and I think I'm just going to go with my initial gut instinct. Now there's the Trick or Treat palette as well as the Little Ghost palette. I do gravitate more towards the Little Ghost palette. It's a little bit more cool tone. And the Trick or Treat palette, I just want to say, because I haven't heard anyone else say this, on just first glance, I instantly thought of the Gimme Glow Haunted Pumpkin palette. And you'll have to let me know if you thought the same thing, because that's what my mind instantly went to, and I didn't hear or see anyone doing comparisons to that. So I don't know, like, I'm not hating it. I'll have to see how long it's in stock for. Like, part of me wants it, but part of me also wants to just be honest with myself that this is not something I get a ton of use out of. I don't mind this for a Halloween launch. I know that some people had a problem that it wasn't Halloween enough, but I think that it is. Like, there's only so much you can do. And in the spirit of Halloween, let's talk about the Glamlite release, because they have been sneak peeking this for a long time, like months. And this is what I mean by, like, there's only so much you can do with a holiday release, because I I'm not in love with this either. And I was really excited for this. I did not pick up the Chucky palette, but honestly, like I think I'm leaning towards liking the Chucky collection more than Ghostface. It looks like this palette has some pretty shimmers. This did release just a couple of days ago. So I'm just, I don't know what I want to think about this. I'm not going to pick it up. As much as I like the franchise, I like the IP on it, I just like Chucky, like I'm not going to get enough use out of it, which is why I ultimately decided not to pick up Chucky. I just don't go for these very grungy dark tones. So as much as I like the shimmers, as much as I think they did a good job, like I do think it fits the theme, but you have to really toe this fine line of fitting the theme but also making it wearable, and I don't think that many people are going to get use out of this as far as like the everyday consumer. For collection piece, it's pretty. The only thing is, if I was buying this for a collection aspect, I would only pick up the accessories, the bag, the mirror, etc. I don't love this franchise enough to want to do that, so that's why I'm gonna pass on it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a little too cool tone, a little too smoky for me to want to pick up. It's at least not that expensive. You know, the palette is $32 versus the Charlotte Tilbury at $75. I don't think it's a bad price. I know they have affiliate links that you can use, but I think I'm just gonna pass on this one. Also, the last time I bought from Glamlite, actually my only purchase from Glamlite was the Scooby-Doo collection, and it took like 2 months to get to me. Granted, I live in Europe, I live in France, but it was like the hype was over by the time I even got that palette, and I know if I order this, it won't come to me before Halloween, so that's also just like something that I'm thinking about when looking at this palette. Do I think it was like a miss on a collection? No, but I do think that it's not as wearable as personally I would like it. I'm sure there's very, very cool, awesome looks that you can do with this, but it's just not my aesthetic. So I'm also gonna pass on that. Let's just kind of stay on this indie brand train. So Fantasy Cosmetica launched their Warlock palette September 29th. They also came out with some lip oils as well as a fragrance. The palette is $39. I don't think that's that expensive for a 9-pan for an indie company. I like this, but again, this is not something that I feel the need to rush out and buy. I haven't purchased anything from Fantasy Cosmetica, and I'm very interested. Like, they're high up on my list to try out. But if I was gonna pick, I think they have 4 or 5 9-pans now. I think that there would be other ones that are higher up on my list. There are about 3 of them that I think that I want. The Druid, the Rogue, there was another one, but this one's like mid-tier as far as my preference. So I'm not gonna run out and buy this, but I do think it's really pretty. I've heard great things from Fantasy Cosmetica. If you've already tried that brand and you can attest to their formula, to their quality, let me know down below in the comments, because maybe I need to prioritize it more. But for now, like, I think I'm gonna wait. It's also a little bit harder for me to get here. I'm gonna have to pay customs on it, so that's taking effect a little bit. I might just wait until I have a relative coming to France who can maybe bring me these palettes so I don't have to pay taxes on them, customs. But for now, it's just, I want it. Like, I'm definitely going to be purchasing from this brand in the future, but this is not one that just pulled at my heartstrings right away. It's really these greens, the quadrant with like the dark navy, the maroon, those 2 shimmers. I really like that, but this is just, it's not quite there yet for me. However, this Blend Bunny palette, the Sickly Sweet palette, this already launched as well. $44, and it came out the 29th, not too long ago, as well as some lip oils. I went back and forth on this. I also have not tried Blend Bunny yet. I did purchase their cheek palette when it launched, the Bear one, but I haven't tried it yet because it's been in my drawer of stuff I need to try. So I really need to get on that, but I have not tried any of their eyeshadows yet. And this is also a brand that's high up on my list, but I'm really waiting for a launch that just speaks to me more. I've been liking these pastel colors. I've been diving into colors just a smidge, like I'm really a neutral girl at heart, but I'm dipping my toes into pastel, and I did consider this palette. The messiness of the palette doesn't bother me, let me just say that, because I haven't purchased anything from Blend Bunny, so I know that's usually her aesthetic of going gradients, and I think that that looks nice, but this is just like any other brand release with the colors kind of being scattered, so that doesn't bother me, and I like that it's not just pastels. There's kind of a mix here with some darker mattes, etc., but it's just a little matte heavy, and I know that that's Blend Bunny's thing. I don't know, I just haven't been in like this impulse shopping mood, which is great. I'm going to just reiterate that. I am not mad. I'm going to embrace this part of my life, but you'll have to let me know if you pick this up. Like, is this the best Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette? So far, this is the one that intrigues me the most out of all the palettes she's come out with. But I do have the Cosmic Brushes Delicious Delights palette that I recently tried not too long ago, and that's kind of fitting the bill for this. So I don't know if I need two palettes like that, and I'm just hoping she comes out with something where I'm just like immediately, yes, this is the palette that I want to try for them. So I'm going to continue to hold out. She'll at least have this palette for a while, so I'm not too like in a rush to get it. And the last indie company release that I have is Lethal Cosmetics. So they came out with a sequel to their 1UP collection. This is the 2UP collection, and it has 10 shades, $40.50. Now, Lethal Cosmetics is based in Germany, so it's a little bit easier for me to get my hands on, a little bit less expensive, because when you have to pay customs, when I say that, just so you know, if you're unaware, like whatever I'm paying for a palette, like expect me to pay probably around $20 for shipping, and then I'm gonna pay 20-25% of whatever the cost was of that palette as custom taxes. So it just gets to be quite expensive, and with Lethal, I won't have to do that. However, I'm just not a gamer. I'm not. Like, so this kind of IP theming that they have going on here does not appeal to me at all. I don't like the scatterness of this palette. The Blend Bunny doesn't bother me because at least it's all organized. This, the pans are in different spots. I think it's really cute, but it's not me. The shades are nice. I don't think it's anything crazy spectacular. If you like gaming, if that's your thing, like it's cute, but for me, it's gonna be a pass. That actually isn't all the indie makeup I have. I missed two, so let's go to Glaminatrix. They just launched this. I don't have like still photos. I only have the video that they showed. So this is their Rich Romantic palette. It's coming out Sunday the 8th of October at different times because they are based in Australia. So check like your local time zone for when they're gonna release. It's either the 7th or the 8th. And I'm for sure picking this up. So we have a yes, finally. I love this palette. I know it's more springy because in Australia, they're kind of going more into spring rather than winter like Western countries, but I'm loving this. I'm loving the brightness. I'm loving the shimmers. I'm loving all of this. I think it's the perfect springtime palette. I also recently, this video hasn't gone up yet, but I just finished editing my Glaminatrix video, doing 3 looks with all the Glaminatrix palettes that I have to just kind of give like some inspo. So I'm kind of just like on a Glaminatrix kick right now, and I'm really excited to add this to my collection. I'm for sure going to be picking this one up and doing a video on it, so stay tuned for that. Let me know if you're interested in that palette, because I guess if no one's interested, I won't do a video, but I am interested and I'm really excited for this. It's something different, just something bright and fun for holiday, because we've just been seeing so many of these dark, smoky, cool tones, and I love a cool tone. I was over everyone just releasing warm tone palettes, but now it just feels like now we're just getting bombarded with cool tone color stories, and there's just only so much you can do. So once I have 15 cool tone color stories in my collection, like what else What else is there? Anyways, I went on a tangent, but this one I'm really excited for. I think it has like a nice neutral, colorful tone to it, and I think it's gonna do really, really well. I'm very excited. I also have a collection from Melt Cosmetics, and this is the Halloween Town collection. So there's a palette for $60. There's a hand mirror, there's a highlighter, there's lipstick. The full bundle is $175. It comes out October 2nd. No, I don't. Melt Cosmetics, like, I think that they're a little overpriced for what they are. I don't think that they should be charging as much as they charge when their formula is not rock solid. It's very finicky from collection to collection. Also, like, this might be surprising, but I've never seen, what's this movie? The Nightmare Before Christmas, right? I've never seen that movie, and I know that that's super surprising, but as a child, my dad like didn't really let me watch like witchcraft movies, and so I just never watched it. And then as an adult, I never watched it. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch Alice in Wonderland, Fantasia, like anything with magic, like my dad was not into, and I wasn't allowed to. So I never saw this, and I've heard really great things. I know this has like a cult classic following, but it doesn't appeal to me. I know nothing about it at all. So it's going to be an easy pass. The color story of the palette, if we're just looking past the franchise, is a little bit too bright and colorful for me. Like, there's really no mattes in there. So this is probably more of a companion palette. And I think that this is mostly trying to appeal to people who love the movie versus the color stories of the palette. So I am also going to just be passing on this collection. And then officially, the last indie company that I have to talk about is Terra Moon Cosmetics. They are coming out with 12 new highlighters. That's a lot, and some of these are not like your typical looking highlights. Some of them I would categorize as more of like a single shadow, so I think they're probably multi-purpose. I mean, of course, you can use it for whatever you want. They're categorizing it as a highlighter. I do at least like that for a highlighter, they're using 36mm pans. So if I'm not mistaken, that's about the size of the Gimme Glow single pans, if you're familiar with those. Gimme Glow just switched pan sizes, so they are going to smaller sizes, which is fantastic. But if you know the old pan sizes, that I think is what the size of these are going to be. So I don't think they're too big for a highlight, and you could use it as a single shadow if you wanted. These are, how much are they? They came out the 29th, but I don't have a price on them. Depending on the price, I would be interested in maybe picking up a few. I have some singles from Terra Moon Cosmetics, and I really like them. I don't have too many, like I'm just starting my collection. I think I have 9, but they are one that I plan on building my collection on with the singles. So I could see myself picking up maybe 1 or 2 of these, but I would probably only use it as a single shadow, and it's just nothing like high up on my list. They're just expanding their core line from what I understand. And I think that's great, but nothing I need to run out and get right away. I think now I'm just going to talk about more mainstream holiday releases. I'm going to save all the franchise IP collections because there are a lot. I'm going to do that like in a whole little section. So let's start with Nars. Typical of Nars, they came out with a 9-pan holiday palette as well as a 6-pan cheek palette, and then some other things just in holiday packaging that are already existing in their lineup. Now, I have a few of the cheek palettes from Nars for their holidays, but you know, they are such limited edition that sometimes I just don't get my hands on it fast enough, and it's not something I feel like the need to rush out and buy. I'm definitely not going to get the cheek palette because I already have a few from them, and I have blushes from them. While I'm sure it's really great quality, these kinds of things to me just aren't geared for someone who has a lot of makeup. Like this cheek palette is someone who maybe just buys the cheek palette every year and uses that the entire year. They're not really into having a big collection, which is totally fine. Just I think the market for this is not me, and I don't need this. I'm definitely not going to be buying the things that are already in their lineup that are just in this gold packaging. I don't need that at all. The 9 pan looks pretty, but things from Nars are just starting to look the same every single time. I feel like the 9 pan from last year, which I didn't pick up, was the most unique looking in a while, and I kind of wish I had gotten that, but it's gone now. That's what Nars does. So unfortunately, like I won't be picking this up. You have to let me know if you're someone who every year, like you just have a makeup brand and you always pick up their holiday release. Charlotte Tilbury, Nars, Pat McGrath, all of those things. Like, is there just like a brand that you hone in on? Hourglass is another one that I know a lot of people are into, but I'm just starting to feel like I have it already, and that's okay. I don't need it. Kayali is coming out with a whole fragrance line, and I am interested in this. I am wondering, like, here's the thing. Last year, they released their sugared vanilla. I have it. So last year, they released the Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli. I just have the mini here, and they made it sound like this was going to be limited edition, so I ended up picking it up, even though I didn't spell it or anything, because I wanted to make sure I grabbed it while it was limited edition. But if I'm not mistaken, it's still around. So that leads me to believe that this won't be as limited edition, say, as Nars. And I probably will pick this up. So they're all based on oud fragrances. It's the Oudgasm collection, and there's vanilla oud, cafe oud, rose oud, and tobacco oud. I like this a lot. It's coming out October 1st. I just like fragrances. I like collecting them. The thing about Kayali that gets me is that they sell like their little minis. So the downside is that you don't get the really nice packaging that the $100 perfume comes in, but I'm okay with that. I have about 4 or 5 of these now, and they're $30, and it's just so much more aesthetically pleasing having them all lined up. So I will probably, if they sell them like this, pick those up maybe Black Friday-ish. I'm thinking that's like on my Black Friday list to purchase. Holiday time for fragrance is my favorite because a lot of brands come out with the little mini bottles. I don't purchase the travel roller balls, even though I think it's like about the same product. If I'm gonna buy a mini, I want it to look like the bottle, and I much rather do that than buy the 1 ounce, 3 ounce, whatever, because I can try it and I like collecting fragrance clearly. So I'd rather have more but less product, if that makes sense. That's personally just me and what I like. I'm sure some people like having the big bottle and having a signature scent, but for me, I like having like the little different bottles, and eventually I want to kind of do like a cool display. So this is something that I think that I would pick up regardless of if I like the scent or not, if they come in those minis, to kind of just have a completed collection. And another fragrance launch that I am excited about is Victoria Beckham is releasing a fragrance collection. It looks like there's not a lot of info, but she's going to have several fragrances. I am a Victoria Beckham stan. I just am. You know, I grew up in the Spice Girl era. I always wanted to be Posh Spice, even though my friends always made me be Baby Spice because they felt like that fit me more, and maybe it does, but my fantasy self wanted to be Posh Spice. And my partner always makes fun of me because anytime I like show him a bag or show him something, he's like, okay, Posh Spice, because my aesthetic is her. Like, I want to be her. And I'm very excited for this fragrance collection, more just as a fan of her products. So we'll see what the pricing is on this. I have a feeling it's going to be expensive. All of her things are more in that luxury category, so I don't know if I can like justify getting something, but it might be like on my Christmas list or something like that, because I really love it. I love her bags. I wish I could get a bag. Like eventually I want to get her little chain bag that she has, but I'm digressing now. I'm excited to see what this collection has. I don't know if I would buy it without smelling it too, because if it's a lot of money, like I'm going to want to smell it first, and it's probably going to be hard to track down. I wonder how they're going to do it. If they have like a sampler set, that would be ideal. We'll just have to wait and see. But I did want to at least mention this because I am excited for this launch. Patrick Ta has released 2 products for holiday. So the first being the typical cheek palette that he's released 2 years prior, except this one is like a cheek and eye palette. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I haven't tried anything from Patrick Ta, so I can't speak on the quality. However, it really bothers me that this is a cheek and eye palette. It doesn't make sense. Like, I wish maybe it had a bronzer in it or just something like cheek related. I don't like it when it's like 2 separate categories. I don't know. I heard last year's wasn't great. The first one was good, but I'm not going to pick this up. I like the pink packaging. I think that's really fun. And these eyeshadow kind of glimmers. I think it was smart of him to release an all matte palette and then come out with like these complementary shimmer shadows, but I'm just not going to pick this up. The blushes look really bright for whatever price this is. I'm sure it's expensive. I do have the price. It's $65. It's available now. I'm just not interested in this. The first one I was somewhat interested in. The second one, no, with that highlight, but this is not something that I want. And then the other thing that he released are some eyeshadow toppers, and these are like loose glitters. Where is this? Do I still have it? They're loose glitters, and it comes in a silver and gold, not a glitter, like a topper shade. Again, really smart to kind of just go with that matte palette that he released. I think it was smart of him. However, I can't do a loose eyeshadow. I just can't. I'll never use it. It's a pain to use. I'm going to get glitter everywhere, all over my shirt, my hands. Like, it's not going to just be on my eyes. I know that. I have enough indie topper shades to last me a lifetime. So this was something that I was a little interested in. I'm not going to lie. Part of me wants it, but practicality wise, it's not going to suit me and my needs. I've had loose shimmers in the past, and I've always decluttered them because I just find them to be a pain. Let's just talk about some overpriced makeup that's been releasing. I mean, in my opinion, this is $120, and it's from Esum Cosmetics. It's their Artistry Pigment Palette. It's their 4th one in this lineup, and it has 15 shades. They're all kind of this metallic shimmer shade, and it's a whole bunch of different colors. Esum, I know, is kind of geared more towards makeup artists, so maybe it's not overpriced, like if this is something that you have in your kit. But for me, this is like an easy no. I like more complete palettes. I don't like complementary palettes. So I see how this fits in their lineup because they have all matte palettes similar to Viseart. They're kind of like the new Viseart, and Viseart's gone more mainstream in my opinion, but this is just way too expensive for me to have. I think that the casing's really nice. Like, I like the packaging a lot, but this is absolutely a no for me. And it's interesting to me, like, when brands come out with items that aren't necessarily holiday themed, like the timing of it. Like, I feel like maybe the timing of this was a little bit off. They could have released it like 2 months earlier and more people would have bought it. But I think that most people, especially people who are on a budget, are going to prioritize more holiday releases that are limited edition that they maybe can't get. Like this, you can wait 6 months and get it later. Other holiday stuff, you can't do that. So I don't know. This is a pass for me. I'm not going to pick it up now. I'm not going to pick it up in 6 months. The next expensive thing I have, do I even have a price on this? I don't think so, but we know it's going to be expensive. It's the new Hermes eyeshadow palettes. They're also going to be releasing some brushes and some mascara. I also just really don't like the layout of this. I know that Hermes was probably trying to do something innovative, something different with the 2 squares and 2 circles, but the layout of this bothers me. It just does. It doesn't bother me as much as the Gucci. The Gucci really bothered me, but I don't know what it is. Some of these color stories are nice. They're neutral. They're easy to use. but for whatever price point this is going to be, I can probably say it's not justifiable. I haven't tried anything from Hermes as well, but I do want to try the bronzer. I've heard really good things about the bronzer, and that is $90, but it is on my list. Like eventually I think I will pick that up. So the eyeshadow palette, like, no, I have enough eyeshadow palettes to get me by. I probably have enough bronzers as well, but if I'm going to choose anything from Hermes, it's going to be the bronzer over these eyeshadow palettes. They're just not doing it for me. I'm at least glad like they have some neutrals as well as some with a pop of color. Kind of appeals to everyone, but absolutely not. Something I am going to pick up, let's just go into a positive, shall we? Because I feel like this has been more of an anti-haul. This e.l.f. collection with Jennifer Coolidge, I am so excited for this. I am so excited for this. First of all, I mean, it's $25, so it's not that bad. It came out September 27th. Dang, it's already released. So I need to look that up now. I will be purchasing this right after I finish filming this video. Hopefully it's not sold out. I'll leave a note if it is or not, but I am so excited for this. I think this is like the cutest little collection. It's simple, it's fun, it's a collab. I love it. I love everything about it. Will I use the colors? I'm not sure. Jury's out on that because looking at the swatches, it's a little iffy. The lip gloss looks very light and milky. The lip liner looks all right. The lipstick looks okay, but that lip gloss, I'm just not sure, but I'm buying it anyways. I think this is the cutest collection ever, and I'm really glad that Jennifer Coolidge is like making this comeback. I love it. Going from a positive to a negative, let's talk about this Polite Society palette. Like, what is this? This bothers me. It bothers me a lot. I don't know why it bothers me, it just does. Santa Knows When You're Being a Bitch palette, like it's weird. I think that they were just trying too hard to be edgy. Polite Society, I don't plan on purchasing from. It's Jared Blandino's, he's kind of taking charge of this brand. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I don't really support him. Too Faced is fine, like he's separated from Too Faced, but I'm just not about this. And I think that this is one of the worst palettes I've ever seen before. Like I'd rather buy a Too Faced holiday palette than buy this. I just think it's weird. Like I don't know, you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments, but something about this just rubs me the wrong way. It's not even the cursing, like I curse. I'm not anti-cursing. It's just odd. And I don't know what else to say about it other than I absolutely will not be picking this up, and I think it's one of the worst holiday releases I've ever seen. Let's move on and talk about the MAC collection. I think everyone looks forward to seeing what MAC releases for holiday, and I have to say I'm also just underwhelmed with this collection. I feel like the packaging is a little lazy, and I don't know if I'm just like in this negative mood. Usually I'm more positive, so you'll have to let me know what you think. I just am not feeling this. This like white packaging with the embossing, like it's not doing it for me. I think it just looks lazy, like I said, in comparison to previous holiday releases from them. I'm liking what they're doing with the eyeshadow palettes as far as like switching up their layout. Like I think that that's nice. We've seen a collection from them with this layout previously. But even the color stories are just looking not inspiring. I feel like MAC usually knocks it out of the park with packaging, and this one's just a fail. Like this snowflake highlighter, we've seen this before. So I am not really excited for this launch. There's nothing I'm going to be picking up from them. They have like some cute mini sets if MAC is a brand that you like and you kind of just want to try out different colors, you like the formula. But for me, this is a pass. There's no lipsticks that I really want. The highlighters, a no. The single shadows, no. So I am unfortunately also going to be passing on this collection. I have a few more things before we go into the franchises, but let's go to By Terry. By Terry releases like this Paris themed eyeshadow palette pretty often. This is, I think, like the 4th or 5th one. I purchased the first one that they came out with and I decluttered it. I was really struggling with myself on if I was going to declutter it because I love the Paris theming, the Paris embossing. I live in France, I am French, so it kind of pulled at me a little bit, but I never reached for that palette. I don't find their eyeshadow quality to be that great, and I think that By Terry did really well with that first palette, that Paris theme palette, and people bought it because of the packaging, and now they're just starting to beat a dead horse. Like, they need to move on from that because it's just the same theme over and over with a different color story, and I'm not loving it. Now, they did release some holiday sets with some minis. I do recommend picking that up if you want to try By Terry. I love the pressed powder, the loose powder, the translucent powder, and some of these other products. The CC, what is this? The CC serum. I like that product. I just don't think that they shine in eyeshadow formula, so I will be passing on that palette. A palette that I'm kind of interested in, at least I think that this is a smart idea, I just don't personally need it, is this Urban Decay palette. So they came out with a little quad of their Moon Dust shadows. I think this is smart. I already have Space Cowboy, and I think that I have Cosmic Dust, so that's why I'm not going to pick this up. But I think for someone who loves Urban Decay, loves their single shadows, or used to love them, Space Cowboy came out when I was 18 or 19. I want to say it was one of the first single shadows that I picked up at Sephora. I remember going in with my best friend at the time and both of us buying this shadow, but I think that this was smart. I don't need it. Like, I already have some things from that collection, but I think that this was smart of them and a good holiday release. Like, this is not too holiday, but it is holiday. You can try out some different shades from them. I don't have a price on this, but it is available now, so I will link that down below. Moving on now to Colourpop. I am ashamed to say I picked this up. I already did. So there's two collections that have launched since I did my video last. The first one being the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon collection. I don't know anything about Sailor Moon. I was never really like a cartoon person. So I don't know anything about Sailor Moon is all I'm gonna say. But I did like this palette, so I decided to grab it. There's a whole bunch of things. There's eyeliner, there's highlights, there's lip products, but I only got the eyeshadow palette. I kind of like this color story. It's a little bit cool toned. It's a little bit bright, a little bit leaning on, it's reminding me of something. I can't put my finger on it, the color story, but I'm gonna try it out because I've had just like this hate relationship going on with Colourpop. I haven't really liked a few of the past releases that I've picked up from them. I've decluttered them pretty much right away, but I think my problem with those is that they were more monochromatic and this has a more concise color story. So I'm gonna give it a try. They don't have a bad formula, just I didn't really like those palettes. So I'm gonna try this. Let me know if you want to see a video on this. And then of course, because I was already placing a purchase with them, I also picked up the 1111 palette because I just figured I should add it on so I can get free shipping. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, do I want to spend the $15, $18 on a palette, or do I want to spend $20 on shipping? I'd rather not pay shipping. So I picked up the palette for the 1111 collection as well. This has already launched, as well as the Sailor Moon collection. I was surprised that the Sailor Moon collection actually hadn't sold out because I just picked it up like yesterday, I think. And I was surprised that both were still on the website. The 1111 collection, I think, is a little gimmicky. Like, I'm falling for it. I'm definitely in that category of people that are into this, but I like it. I like it. I thought it was nice. It wasn't something I was going to pick up right away, more just like an add-on. I'm happy that I got it though. I'm going to compare it, I think, to the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. I know a lot of people are saying it looks similar to that, or maybe just some other neutral palettes in my collection to see if I already have this color story. I probably do, but I figured I was making a purchase and this is what I wanted after that. There was nothing else really that intrigued me. I think I did. I also picked up a cream blush and one of the Super Shock bronzers because I've had that on my list wanting to try for a while. So that's what I ordered. Hopefully it'll be here in a couple of weeks and I'll be trying both of those palettes out. So there are definitely some holiday makeup releases that I'm purchasing. Just for the most part, everything's a no. And now that brings us to the IP just overload that's happening, all this franchise stuff. So what's going on with Makeup Revolution? They have like multiple brands. I'm gonna quickly breeze through this, and this is gonna be the last part of the video here. But Makeup Revolution is coming out with the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory collection. This is a no for me. I can't tell if it's a collection. Okay, I couldn't tell if it was like an advent calendar. I didn't even pull up posts for all the franchises that are coming, just like the newer ones. But Makeup Revolution, Willy Wonka, pass for me. I'm not into that, and the color story is way too warm toned for me. But they're also coming out, I think that this is Revolution. So there's Makeup Revolution, there's Revolution, there's XX Revolution. I can't keep track of all of their little niche brands, but Revolution is coming out with their It collection. And I'm also gonna say no to this. I like it as like the franchise. It's okay. I'm not like a diehard fan of it. I don't think this collection's bad per se. Just like Melt Cosmetics, I feel like Revolution, Makeup Revolution, all those little sub brands, I feel like they're relying on having the theming sell their makeup versus the quality. And that might work for them for a while, but eventually, like, that's gonna run short. People are going to be buying these collections because they like the franchise, they like the movies, and they're gonna realize the quality's not there to continue purchasing. So as they come out with more, even I think if someone likes the collection, they're gonna realize it's just going to waste in their collection and stop buying it. I think that this is a very short-term solution for Revolution, Makeup Revolution, all of them. And there's going to be an end to this, but for now, like, I understand their marketing strategy. This collection personally is just not for me. And then the last one from them is the Shrek collection. This comes with an eyeshadow palette, the cute little ears. I like that. If anything, I like this one the most. I like Shrek. You know, I remember going to see it in theaters as a kid. So this one I hate the least out of all of them I'm about to talk about, but I don't understand Revolution. Well, I do. I do understand why they're releasing all of these franchise collections, but I also don't understand what their game plan is with this, because they're going through some franchises pretty quickly here, and I just think that there's only so much they can do. It's not going to be able to last that long. Some other collections that I just want to talk about, not from Revolution, is the Scooby-Doo collection from Wet n Wild. I love Scooby-Doo, so there's that. I definitely, out of all of these, love Scooby-Doo the most. I've talked about this in my Glamlite review. I'll link that video up above on the Scooby-Doo collection. But I'm one of 5 siblings, and we all really just fit a character perfectly. I'll let you guess which one I am. My sister has red hair, if that just gives you any just hints. But, you know, I don't know. I liked the Scooby-Doo collection from Glamlite. Wet n Wild, though, while this is probably going to be inexpensive, I don't know how much of this I'm really into. Definitely not the eyeshadow palette. There's like this 5-pan that kind of looks like shimmer shades. It's hard to see. Glitter palette with a brush, but it doesn't have all the characters on it. So I think I'll probably pass on that. But this is just another brand doing another collection. I also saw Wet n Wild like sneak peek like a Marilyn Monroe collection. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I'm just mentioning it. I'm not fully talking about it and putting up photos, because it looks like it was just seen in stores, and maybe we'll get more information on that in the future. But Wet n Wild kind of seems like they're also going down this road of just doing collections to try and cash grab with people wanting the collection versus wanting their actual products. Now, 2 more things. Profusion. I don't think I can get Profusion in Europe. I'm not 100% sure. If someone knows, let me know. But they're coming out with the Casper collection. This is cute. I like the makeup bag. Like, the accessories get me more than maybe the products. I think they should really run on the accessory train, less of like these products, but I don't love it enough to want to buy it. Makeup palette doesn't intrigue me at all. Lip products don't interest me. I'm kind of on just like a unofficial lip no buy because I have enough lip products and I don't wear them enough to justify having more lip products in my collection. And the very last one, I kind of like this one too, is the Hard Candy Cosmetics Wednesday collection. I have not seen this show either. It's on my list of things to watch, but I do kind of like the color story of this at least. And I like the accessories. Hard Candy is a brand that I haven't tried, and I've been seeing more and more things from them that's kind of putting them higher up on my list of things that I want to try. But again, I don't know where I can purchase them in Europe. So this is something I might have to have a relative bring to me. And I'm just not in a rush to do that. There's like 1 or 2 of these 6-pan palettes that maybe I would be interested in, but nothing like urgent that I have to have right now. I think it's like a cute IP at least. Not really nostalgic, but I think it was a good idea, good plan, but I'm still just with the bombardment of all these collections on franchises, it just ends up being too much. Like a good idea, having a Wednesday collection gets lost in the shuffle with all these other collections that are releasing. But that's all that I have to talk about today. There's definitely more I could have talked about, but I'm just cutting it off here. Let me know your thoughts down below, what you plan on picking up, just launches that you're excited for. I love to hear different opinions down below that maybe I didn't think of. So make sure you tell me all your thoughts, and this is where I'm going to leave you. So I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, everyone.